Errors in the performance of repetitive or boring tasks often attributed to can be serious in such activities as flying a passenger aircraft. Is there any method that would provide warning of such lapses? But for example, by monitoring brain activity. So can scientists figure out when there is going to be a lapse in the brain activity, and then they know exactly when there's an issue going to happen? If that's true, that's amazing if you could do that. Researchers scan the brains of volunteers performing. When the tasks are being performed correctly, the volunteers' brains showed activity in cognitive processing areas. So I guess they're using their brains. That's the cognitive processing area is when you're being analytical or when your brain is in use. But when these regions become less active several seconds before, however, these regions become less active several seconds before errors were made. Aha. So another brain region becomes active. So it's maybe the before. So if your mind is in the task, your cognitive region in the brain lights up. If your mind wavers, region X lights up. And this has happened several seconds before you mess up. You screw up job. So okay, so as long as you keep making sure that you're always in this region. So is there any is there the answer to the question is this question is yes, there is. Just look out for region X. If it's lit up, then you can foresee a mistake going to happen. Okay, however, these regions become less active seconds. And another interesting that they haven't another region this region becomes less active. Okay. And another brain region has becomes active. Uh-huh. So I'm not sure if this becomes active happens. Does this happen at the same time the at the same time the cognitive processing region becomes inactive? I think so. I think both are I'm assuming both are happening at the same time. That's what when I read this sentence. This cognitive region goes off, switches off, and region X switches on. Okay, yeah. So you can. That's what I was thinking. So this is expected. The gray is expected based on it. So just look out for the region X. Just look out for. Just monitor region X, and you're good. So just monitor region X. Anytime it becomes active, you can expect. But what if it becomes active something that I don't like to prejudge an answer, but prove that region X becomes active only after the cognitive processing region becomes inactive. Something like that. That's what I'm looking for. Region X should not light up for any other reason other than when other than when the cognitive processing region dies out or switches off. Okay. Okay, so let's hope for the best. That's what I'm looking for. Something, you know, something along these lines. That's what's going through my brain at least. Okay, let's hope for the best. The cognitive effort required in performing diminishes significantly with increases in the number of. Well, yeah, but it doesn't really talk about region X. It doesn't really talk about region X. I'll keep it, but I'm hoping for something better. I mean, this is true, but I'm hoping for something a bit more stronger. This is once after the mistake is made, so that's irrelevant. Other research found that whenever significant activity occurs in region X, other research found that whenever significant activity occurs in region X, whenever significant occurs in region X, what do you mean by activity occurring in region X? What does that mean? Whenever significant activity occurs in region X, it is generally with repetitive tasks. Okay, soon before. Yeah. Isn't this? Yeah, this is telling me. Yeah, this is essentially telling me that. Isn't this telling me it should not light up for any other reason? Found that whenever significant activity occurs in region X, whenever activity, I don't know, what do you mean activity occurs? Maybe I guess when it lights up is generally with repetitive tasks, soon before now. I personally will select, I like this too much. On the exam, I will select C and move on because it's with what I have right here. It should not light up for any other reason, and it's strengthening. So I will select C, but let's just look at the others. But on the exam, I'll select C and move on. The diminution of brain activity, okay, that means the decrease, I guess. Diminution means decrease, obviously. The decrease of brain activity. What do you mean? Okay, I guess the usage. The, no, I don't want to say this. I think this is saying reduced usage in cognitive processing region. And the increase began at least 6 seconds after the reduction in brain usage in cognitive and the increase of activity began at least 5 seconds before the errors occurred. Well, at least technically that could mean at least 5 seconds before. Well, this is helpful, but at least can mean after the error has occurred. If this was if option D variation was reduced usage and the increase in activity began, let's say there was no began, let's say it was, no, let's say there was no at least, then if there was only began 5 seconds before, if option D variation said that reduced usage and the increase in activity began 5 seconds before errors occurred, I think D would have been a good answer, but I think the word at least is wrong here. I think it's at least is wrong here, in my view. Reduced activity in brain regions associated with cognitive was accompanied by increased activity in regions that become, that's irrelevant, clearly. So I would select C. I personally would select C. How hard is this? Yeah, C. Okay, this one was good. I think, let me just check if D is act. We already know. I don't agree with GMAT Ninja when he says we already know that. I think what did they increase in act? Again, just a split second before. At least, I think the reason why D is wrong is the word at least. I don't know if anyone's focusing on this. Yeah, yeah. The official explanation is it didn't happen many hours before. Oh, at least. Okay, no. 5 seconds before. No, I went the other way around. So this was been at least can mean 2 hours before the error has occurred. I thought it was the other way around. Whereas I thought it was after the error, which is wrong. At least 5 seconds before. Yeah, it could have been maybe 10 seconds before. This could be this could mean 10 seconds before. Well, or 10 hours before. We don't know. I think my question is, I do have a question if option D was, I think if this word at least was gotten, if this word at least was removed, I think this would have also strengthened it. I don't see why it's not a strengthener. Let's see. Warning of an impending error. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think if option D had removed the word at least, I think it would have been wrong. I think it would have been a strengthener, but that's just my view. Thank you.